What's going on, everyone? So, a lot of talks about Rui Hachimura being moved to the bench in place for a Marcus Smart. Right? And look, I think personally, I think that they should bring both Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura off the bench. I think you just have much better balance with your bench and starting unit. I think now you can play Rui more at the 4, let him play his natural position. He can be more of a focal point offensively. Same thing with Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, now he doesn't just primarily have to be a catch and shoot 3-point shooter in the starting unit where Luka's operating as the primary ball handler, especially in the beginning of games. Like the first quarter is where Luka likes to get going. He likes to kind of set the tone early on. He's a guy that wants to go drop 20, 30 points in the first quarter. So I just think you have the better balance with the starting unit if you go with Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt to kind of mask and help create the separation when Luka is cooking. If he's having his struggles, you can kind of close the gap to kind of stay within range. And I've had people bring up, well, what about the 3-point shooting and the lack thereof? Right? Well, one, we'll see how Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt shoot the basketball. But even then, a couple things. One, you can always tweak things if need be. Like if, the offense isn't cooking the way you need it to, you can always move guys in. But you know you're going to get the effort and the defense from a Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt. But two, the lack of shooting from those guys isn't as harmful with Luka Doncic as it is with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, right? Because Luka, he's a jump shooter. He'll shoot over the top. He doesn't care about the traffic. He wants the traffic. You see, he wants to create that dribble penetration, collapse the defense, kick out the shooters, or have the lob threaten DeAndre Ayton. He's not worried about it. And if they don't collapse, then he just stops on a dime and shoots over the top, right? Where Anthony Davis, he wanted to kind of, first step, dribble, get up, little floater in the 8 to 5 foot range, or kind of hit the elbow 10 feet in. He wanted to operate in that 10 in range. Right? He could step out, knock down the 15 footer, but more often than not, he wanted to kind of take guys off the dribble and get to the basket. Right? LeBron James, what does he want to do? He wants to look down, shoot the 3, or he wants to just bully his way to the basket and kick out to shooters or finish at the rim through contact. He doesn't want the paint pack. Luka doesn't care. So at least to start, again, you can make adjustments, you can make tweaks. But realistically speaking, they're probably not going to bring Austin Reeves and Rui off the bench. So, Rui Hachimura. Now, I have some concerns with Rui going to the bench. Right? We have seen him check out before. Austin Reeves, when he goes to the bench, and again, you can look this up, he actually gives you the same production, but better efficiency. So he's actually better because he's more efficient because he's going up against bench units, right? So he's giving you the same production, but he's more efficient because he's going up against lesser defenses in competition, right? Like Austin Reeves, I think could be the 6th man of the year, if he was willing to accept that role. Rui, he's checked out before. He's had some stretches and some moments where he was okay, but he's checked out before, right? And can JJ and this coach, can they kind of get him bought in and not look at this as a demotion and look at this as hey, look, it's what's best for the team. We need the balance, right? We're too top heavy offensively. We need the balance defensively, right? Maybe that'll even light a fire under Rui to where he can get defense. I just, the other thing is too, is do the Lakers even care? Right? Because not do they care about, do they care how Rui feels? Because one, there's a lot of talks about trading him. Two, it doesn't look like they're going to give him an extension, right? So they're probably just going to let him walk and lose him for nothing, which is another reason why I kind of want to trade him. And if they do re-sign him, what are they going to do? Are they going to sign him to a multi-year deal? Are they going to sign him to a 1-year deal? Right? So again, and this is where the cap situation makes no sense, right? You're going to let guys like Rui just walk to preserve the cap space for 2027 when Rui's been really good for you. It's a mess, right? If that's really the case. Now, obviously, if you land Giannis or a Jokic or something like that, then it works out, right? Maybe you do a sign and trade with Rui Hachimura somewhere to a contending team or something. There's options that could potentially be explored, but it's very possible Lakers just don't care. The way Lakers just kind of look at it is hey, man, if you want to stay, this is what you got to do. Otherwise, we can find a trade for you and you can go somewhere where, you can make the argument how many good teams in particular would start Rui over their guys? One, he's not really a 3, he's a 4. Right now, there are a couple teams that I do think, he's an upgrade over at the 4, but most of the teams that are good contenders and all of that, like he's not starting over. Right? Like the Rockets aren't starting him over him in the Thunder aren't starting him over Chet. Right? Like, are the Clippers starting him over John Collins when they already have enough offense? Probably not. They probably want John Collins for his defense and his versatility, right? And his size and his length and athleticism, because he is a hyper athlete. Right? Like, Denver, he's not starting over Aaron Gordon. It's just like you kind of go down the list, like, where does he start? And maybe some of these teams would start him at the 3 and catch a shoot 3. I don't know. It just depends on the team, depends on the situation. But if you're the Lakers, I just think you need, like, if you're going to move him to the bench, you need him bought in. Right? You need him to embrace it. Like, hey, dude, this isn't like it really is just a better balance out. It's not a demotion. We would start you if we could, but we can't be too top heavy. We need to have the balance. Now that we have Luka and Reeves and LeBron and all these guys, right? Like, we have to kind of, like, the role you're playing. Right? But then there's also the questions of his shooting in the starting unit. But like I mentioned earlier, I don't think that the lack of shooting is as much of a concern with Luka Doncic. You still want shooting, you still want guys that can be respectable, but LeBron James shot 38% on volume last year. It was 5.7 attempts, I think it was off the top of my head. And the year before that, he was like 42% on 5.2 attempts. And this is off the top of my head, could be slightly off, but he was in the 38 to 40 range the last 2 years. I think he'll still be there this year. Right? So you have shooting in that regard. Right, got DeAndre Ayton, who you don't want shooting threes, but he can pick and pop out to, like, the 15-foot range, so he can kind of pull guys out a little bit. Marcus Smart, can he just be 36%? Jared Vanderbilt, can he be like 34%? You'll be fine, especially in the first 5 minutes of the game. We're setting the tone, and Luke is going to be aggressive and all that stuff. So again, I don't think that that's as big of a concern. But my concern lies in Rui going to the bench and just checks out, and he's just like, he's not bought in and committed, because we need him to be bought in and committed. We need him focused and locked in and willing to engage and defend and hit shots and have that boat of confidence. Right? That, or you basically play him in bench minutes, right? Where, like, maybe you're starting him, but he's only playing 23 minutes. And so you start him for that, and then you're bringing him off the bench primarily. The first 5 minutes he's starting just to, like, kind of keep him locked in. And then from there on, he's just, running it the rest of the way. But then also, what do you do about the closing units? Right? Because, like, if I'm Rui, right, like, I don't care about starting. I want to close. Right? So, like, if it's me, I'm trying to cook enough off the bench to where you can't take me out of the game at the end of games. Right? Like, it's just those kind of things. But we'll see. Time will tell. See what the Lakers end up ultimately doing. But I do have my concerns that Rui just kind of checks out if he is moved to the bench. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.